I, 28 female, made a joke with my husband, 29 male, and it's costing me my marriage with a man I truly love. How do I fix it? I created this account a few minutes ago because I need advice. A joke I made is spiraling out of control, and I'm losing the man I truly love over it. My husband and I have been married for 4 years, and I love him with everything I have. I can't see a life without him. Some of my girlfriends convinced me to try a prank they've done on their husbands or boyfriends, telling them you want to break up or a divorce. I thought it was cruel and never wanted to do it, especially to someone I love, but they kept pestering me because I was the only one out of the 5 of us who hadn't done it yet. They shared how their partners reacted afterward, and I stupidly gave in. So I did it last week, and my husband's reaction was nothing like I expected. I thought he would try to talk me out of it or suggest ways to make things work, like my friends' partners had done, but he didn't. We were having dinner and watching a movie when I told him, I'm not happy anymore, and I think we should get a divorce. He looked at me for a few seconds, and I swear, something broke in his eyes. He got up, went to our bedroom, and within 10 minutes, came out with a packed bag and walked out without saying a word. I tried to stop him, especially after seeing him with his bag packed, and I told him it was just a joke and that I didn't mean it, but he brushed me off and walked out. Since then, I've tried to reach him through messages, calls, emails, and video chats, but he isn't answering. I even talked to his friends, but none of them will tell me where he is. When they do respond, it's to say they don't want to get involved. I went to his workplace, but they refused to let me in. And his parents and siblings have refused to get involved too. His sister sent me one message, joke or not, you really messed up. I've sent countless messages explaining that it was just a joke, even including screenshots of my conversations with my friends as proof. But he's ignored all of it. My friends haven't been any help. They just tell me to give him time and that he'll get over it. Yesterday, everything came crashing down when I was served with actual divorce papers. It felt like someone punched me in the face, and I was and still am in so much pain. I tried desperately to reach him, but all I got back was a message saying he has nothing to say and that I should speak to his lawyer. How can I get the man I love back? I don't want to lose him. I know I made a stupid mistake, and now it's tearing my world apart. Edit, I've already had questions in my DMs about this. To clarify, we didn't have any issues that I was aware of. We were laughing and having fun together all day. There was no recent fight or distance between us. Everything felt perfect. Now for the top advice. The joke is basically telling your partner you want to break up or that you want a divorce. What the actual That is not a joke. You did something spectacularly stupid and are facing the consequences for it. It honestly looks like your female friends know how ridiculously gullible you are and knew exactly how this would blow up in your face. They did it with their partners and nothing like this happened to any of them. According to them, it actually made their partners more attentive and affectionate towards them. So it wasn't a joke. It was a manipulation tool. I can see that. Be honest, this was never a joke. You just wanted to use those words to control him. No, I would never want to control him. I can see why you would think this way, but I was really just joking. Are you really 28? Because this is the stupidest, cruelest, most childish prank I've ever heard of. It seems extremely unlikely that you haven't been able to tell him you were joking. Regardless, that's all you can do. And if he still wants to divorce you because you thought hurting him would be fun, well, fool around and find out. I did tell him it was a joke. I even sent screenshot of my chat with my friends as proof that it was a joke and not me backtracking now, but he isn't responding. Then he probably doesn't want to be married to someone who would hurt him on purpose just to have a laugh. Why didn't you follow him right after he left to the room to pack his things? I didn't know he was packing. I don't know what I thought, but it wasn't that he was packing his things. Next story. Thinking about not attending my brother's wedding because of his fiance's prank on my husband. I'm 25 female and my husband is 30 male. Recently, my brother 32 male and his fiancée 31 female came to visit us in our city. My partner and I are new homeowners, so this was their first time staying with us. For some context, my brother's fiancée is very into Halloween and considers herself a Disney adult. She has a childlike side and often gets absorbed in her interests. I mentioned this because I genuinely think what happened was her getting carried away, but she sees it as a personal attack. This disagreement led my husband to cut their visit short. In other words, they were asked to leave. Since meeting him, my brother's fiancée has repeatedly said that my husband has a dark vibe. She often compares him to characters in her books, saying it's a compliment, though I'm not so sure anymore. Her comments are based on his looks, his general vibe, and the fact that he has a hand tattoo. During this visit, she mentioned wanting to see someone like him get scared, as she couldn't picture him being startled or screaming. She set out to make scaring him her goal during her stay, but none of us, including my brother, knew about it. The incident that caused all the trouble happened when he tried to jump scare my husband in our dark garage. She hid in a full costume and mask, waiting to ambush him when he came home from a run. But instead of screaming, he instinctively pushed her away, not realizing who it was. She hit her head on the wall and was clearly shaken up. Thankfully, he realized right away from her reaction that it wasn't an intruder. He turned on the light, removed her mask, and helped her inside, apologizing, making her tea, and calling me. I was out with my brother. When we got home, I asked her if she was okay and said that the prank was a bad idea. It could have seriously hurt her. She responded by crying, saying my husband used excessive force and must have known it was her just playing a harmless prank. Then my husband calmly asked, "Are you saying I intentionally assaulted you?" She hesitated, but then said yes, to which he replied, "Get out of my house." I tried to smooth things over, but my husband was firm that if she truly believed he'd hurt her on purpose, she wasn't welcome to stay. She chose to stand by her accusation, so I sided with my husband. Now my brother is angry, saying I should have done more to calm things down and convinced my husband to apologize and placate his fiancée while she recovered from the situation. He thinks this would have all blown over if I had helped my husband back down. I find this unfair, especially since my brother didn't say anything to his fiancée or try to reason with her during the discussion. My husband remained calm throughout, but he clearly felt insulted by her remarks, which I think is valid. Why should I have sided with my brother's fiancée over my husband, especially when I feel she crossed a line and then accusing him of wanting to hurt her? My brother says I was short-sighted and should consider their upcoming wedding. But I think he should be the one urging his fiancée to apologize to my husband. If she hadn't hidden in the dark garage in the hooded costume, none of this would have happened. There's no way he would have known in the moment that it was her, and I believe anyone would have a similar reaction. Frankly, she's lucky she was not hurt more than she was. There is a direct cause effect here, yet she's not accepting responsibility. I think her behavior falls into the play stupid games category. Your husband doesn't have anything to apologize for, and it's offensive for them to try to obfuscate her responsibility. Not a-hole. Exactly this. It's one thing to come out of a closet into a well-lighted room, and completely another to jump someone in a dark garage. She's lucky he didn't break her nose or her jaw. I live in Oklahoma. She's lucky she didn't get shot. Texas here. Getting shot is a real possibility. That's beyond stupid on her part. I can guarantee you that I will not be attacked again. Not funny. She seems inappropriately fixated on OP's husband. Why was she even pranking him to begin with? Do they normally have a jokey banter? This is just so bizarre, and I don't understand her thought process. What exactly did she expect would happen? He would push her up against a wall, pull off her mask, and take her right there? This isn't a dark romance novel. Jesus, that's her brother-in-law. I don't understand either. My husband has no banter with her. They don't have much of a rapport. All her impressions about him are just superficial ones she's made. She doesn't even know him. But she's the type of person who believes she is really good at reading people and convinces herself she's figured them out and what kind of person they are. She has tried guessing things about him in the past, and she gets them wrong because she is basing him off her assumptions. I am sure she does this with other people she meets too. Next story. My 24 female boyfriend 24 male wants to move in together, but after we went on a trip I don't want to. How do I tell him? We've been together for a year, but we've only spent 1 or 2 continuous nights together due to our busy schedules. My boyfriend wants me to move in with him ASAP, and I initially told him I would consider it in a few months. However, we recently went on a trip and I saw a side of him that really turned me off. My boyfriend has a habit of making hurtful jokes, especially about appearances. I feel bad saying this, but he's in no position to make comments on anyone's appearance. He's pretty overweight, although I've never mentioned it because I don't care. While I was getting ready for dinner, he started joking about my arms, calling them massive and comparing me to Popeye. This hit a nerve, as I am fit and muscular, and I already worry about looking masculine. I started to cry because I felt so insecure. Instead of comforting me, he walked out of the hotel room, slammed the door, and said, "When you're ready, I'll be downstairs." Later we talked and he told me he was mad that I was upset, saying I can't take a joke, and that he's sick of having to watch everything he says around me. In the end, he promised not to make negative comments about my appearance anymore. But just 2 hours later, while looking at photos, he said, "Wow, your makeup was actually messed up today." His behavior on a flight home was also disturbing. During a 5-hour flight, he ordered tons of food, left a mess everywhere, and expected me to dig through the overhead bin for his AirPods. When I said I didn't feel like waking up the guy next to me just to look for them, he rolled his eyes and turned away from me. The final straw was his reaction to the flight attendant. She was giving clear instructions to buckle seat belts and turn phones to airplane mode, but he ignored her, busy uploading selfies on Instagram. When I asked him to follow her instructions, he flipped out, saying, "Why do you have to tick me off all the time? You're not my mother. I'll do whatever I please." Embarrassed, I snapped back, "Well, stop acting like a child then." He replied, "No, you are the child. You don't know anything." At that point, I just closed my eyes and tried to sleep, holding back tears. About 10 minutes later, he tried to hold my hand and told me, "You know I love you. I'll always love you. My heart belongs to you." Throughout the trip, everything seemed to be about what he wanted. One day, I suggested we do our own thing, and he agreed. We were apart for just 8 hours, but he called me several times, asking what I was doing. When we met up again, he told me he missed me and worried about me. For me, it was the complete opposite. Without him, I felt peace. Despite all of this, he's always kissing and cuddling me, telling me he loves me. When I got home after the trip, he said he was so sad to go home without me and wishes we lived together. However, his behavior on this trip has completely turned me off from the idea of moving in with him. How do I tell him I don't want to move in right now? I know this will hurt him, but after seeing this side of him, I'm not sure living together is the right choice. Now for the top comments. You should be breaking up with him, not worried about how to tell him you don't want to live with him. Good thing she doesn't live with him. It will make breaking up with him so much easier. That's why he wants her to move in. He can't even mask his BS long enough to get his hooks in. He is that bad. Without him, I felt peace. You know what to do. He's affectionate, so you'll feel confused and give him the benefit of the doubt. And then he can keep being dreadful. Yep, this was the line for me. OP, bite the bullet and dump him. Do not move in with him. He is disrespectful and abusive. He wants everything on his terms. You know the relationship is over when you're happier if the other person is gone. OP, your life could be blissful. P gave you the ick. Going on holidays with a partner can either make or break the relationship. I think it's broken yours. If you move in with this guy, that will be your life. Disrespect and belittling you. He has shown you who he is. You know what his reaction will be already. He will get angry, storm off, gaslight, and love bomb you to try and get you to change your mind. I don't think you'll be able to just tell him, I don't want to move in, without it ending the relationship. And to be honest, I don't see a future for you with this man-child. Thank you for your reply. Yes, that's how I would describe it. I got the ick majorly, haha. He has told me before, if we ever break up, I think I would get major depression and go back to his home country. Honestly, after these replies, I think I'll start planning my exit. Last story. Am I the a-hole for abandoning my husband after his surgery to go on vacation with my family? A month ago, my husband and I had a disagreement that's still causing a lot of issues with my family, so I'm hoping for some outside perspectives. I'm a 32-year-old woman, married to my husband, who is 34 for 5 years now. 3 years ago, I got pregnant with our first child, and we were both thrilled to become parents. The pregnancy, however, was really tough on me. I had extreme morning sickness and was constantly exhausted. Before my due date, I talked with my husband about wanting to stay at our home after giving birth. In my country, it's common for new mothers to go to their family's home for help with a baby, but I didn't want to. I have a complicated relationship with my father and wouldn't have felt comfortable around my brother in such a vulnerable state. While I love my family, it just didn't feel right. I felt it was my husband's responsibility as the baby's father to take care of both the baby and me, and he agreed. So, we prepared our house for the baby and set things up for guests. My mom agreed to come stay with us, and his mom also offered to help. But after I gave birth, my husband drove me to my family's house, saying he thought it would be better if I stayed near my mom and sister, as they could care for me better than he could. We stayed at my parents' house for a month, and during that time, he only visited us 3 times. I felt humiliated and ashamed. I had to deal with leaky breasts, stitches, and a crying baby while staying in my old bedroom, which I shared with my sister. My family tried to help, but being a private person, all I wanted was to go back to my home and have my husband by my side. I later found out he's gone on a trip with his friends to Dubai. Fast forward to a month ago, my husband fell ill for 2 days, and his pain worsened, so I drove him to the hospital. He needed an appendectomy and spent 2 days there. I stayed with him the whole time, but when he was discharged, I took him to his parents' house instead of ours, telling him his mother could care for him better than I could. Then, I took our child and went to join my family in another city, where they were spending the summer. When I told my family, they expressed disappointment, saying, "That's not how we raised you. You don't abandon your husband when he needs you most." My in-laws were furious, and my sister even suggested that I should have left the baby with him as well. After a week, I came back to our home and he returned 2 weeks after his surgery. Since then, he's been giving me the silent treatment and has been sleeping in the living room. So, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. What was he expecting? You gave him a taste of what he gave you, which was nothing. His behavior was worse because there were different plans. The opinions of other family members are irrelevant. Phew, that double standard is real. She matched energy. Was it petty? Yep. Did he deserve it? Yes. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Not the a-hole.